Hi guys, so today is November the 9th, it's a Thursday, and I am doing a reading that all of us have wanted to see, including myself. And it's a reading that I've postponed doing for a long time because it's so heavy, right? And it's the cause of all this mess, and it's a reading about Donald Trump, right? Who's currently the president. And somebody had mentioned one of one of you had asked for a reading on him, and again, for a long time, I postponed it because I felt like if I saw something saying that nothing would happen to him, I would really be devastated. And also, I don't believe having this be completely anchored in whatever happens to him would work. Okay, because obviously he was put in place because of a set of there was a lot of coordination, there was a lot of planning, I think. So it's not as if removing him would solve the problem. Okay, it's just what to tell everybody and talk about it, right? Because it's not as if removing he's in a way he's a consequence. Okay, and really we have to look at the roots in order to remove this whole thing. It's a massive, the word that came to me, cancer. It's a massive cancer, and it's true. Okay, it's just a massive diseased branch of a tree. That's what it feels like. Okay, so anyway, I just don't want anybody to put all of the, I don't want to say hopes, but look at the context. I have a lot of other readings that speak of what else is happening. So the important thing is whatever happens in the future, that it stops everything that's behind this person, not just this person. Okay. Okay. All right. So I will also say that there will be two other readings that I'll be doing on him because one of the questions, and the questions that most people have when it comes to high anxiety elements such as this one, is the timeline. So, but the timeline reading, though, like the one I did for the Mueller investigation, is a little bit less detailed in terms of a whole story. Okay. So I would like to start with the reading set up in the same way that I've done all the other readings, which is a fairly large reading with two parts. Okay, and so that gives you a sense of the story. And then I'm not sure I'll be able to do this today because this is probably going to be a fairly long reading. I will do the other timeline reading. And I also want to do the third reading, which is about the meeting that's supposed to happen between Putin and Trump. Okay. I'm very curious about what does he want from Trump? What conversation are they having? That's really that's the mystery for me. That's what I want to know because this whole trip to Asia, I don't know if it's a ruse just to for him to meet Putin in person or whatever the deal is. Okay, so again, this is one of a series of readings about him. This is probably going to be the most concise in terms of storytelling, and this will not have a precise timeline. There will be another reading just focused on a timeline, okay, on the month. So I'll just tell you the story. All right, so we'll get started. And the story here, I see the crazy person. I see the very deranged, both on an emotional and a kind of a fire element level, because it looks like he is definitely crazy, but he also has this like very volatile temper. Because of course you could say, well, an emotional person does have the volatile temper, but he has also the bully thing. So it shows here too clearly that he has both an emotional kind of instability, but also a raging element. Okay, a kind of a yeah bully and fighting and venomous nature. Okay, and and the other thing that's showing here that I find quite interesting is the amount of stress he's under, and that it's giving me the picture that the whole thing with Russia is that they are, I feel like the secret that he has is debt. So he had some sort of debt to them. And he can't meet whatever. I have a feeling that he can't meet the obligations and he's really desperate. And the image that's coming to my mind now is when you look at mafia movies or documentaries, there's the person, the man who owes the mafia money, and he's desperate for anything, to do anything in order to give them money. Okay. And so that's kind of the feeling I get about him. I also get the ego and that he's willing to see. This card also showed up for Paul Ryan, the person who's willing to do anything to get what he wants. Okay, so but the difference I see here is that although there is one ego, I see one aspect of ego. The main driver seems to be money or the debt situation. Okay, so I guess what I'm saying is that we believe that he's doing this out of ego, that he wants to be president. But what I see here is that he both needs it and wants it as as an opportunity to repay whatever he owes. Okay, so he really, okay, what I'm gonna sounds so horrible that I'm gonna like pray to God to, to not scare anybody. But what I feel, it's like, because it's so horrible, the word, I'm feeling the words coming out of my mouth. But what he feels is that he's willing to put this country as a collateral for his debts. Okay, that's what I'm feeling here. This sounds so horrible, but that's what I'm getting. That he doesn't see a problem with this. Okay, and if you think about it, not very many people are willing to do that. Okay, but I don't mean that in a literal sense where he's like, okay, gets U.S. bonds, like in right. But what I mean is like he doesn't care. Clearly, to him it's like, well, I need money, I need opportunity. This is it. It's just something that happened. Okay, so I don't believe. And another thing is going to sound horrible. I don't think he has a conscience. I really don't think he cares at all. Okay, because he's under a lot of stress. He's willing to do anything. He's very aggressive. It's all these things that I'm seeing. That's the picture that I'm getting. Okay, so I'm gonna get started, guys. Okay, and again, I've said this before on other readings, especially readings like this that are very, I don't want to say high profile, but it's something that we all have a lot of anxiety about, including me. Okay, about this person, what's going to happen, blah blah blah. Okay, so I'm going to start as if you, having said all of this, let's get started, knowing that it's about Trump, and I'm just going to read it as if it was just another reading. Okay, which it is. All right. So the first card I get here is the Moon reversed, and the Moon reversed is the card of the crazy person. Okay, this is the Moon like this means mad, sort of like not seeing the whole picture. There's an element of reverie. There's an element of like romanticism, a little bit like French poetry in the 19th century. So there's this romantic element when it's upright. There's something positive about it. It's not always negative. It's just about dreams and not being able to understand the difference between fantasy and reality. Sometimes that can be helpful, but other times it's too much. Okay, so when it's upside down, it's a person who basically went all the ways, and it is 100% crazy. Okay, just living in another universe. He's crazy. It's just the card of the crazy person. And on top of it, we have a letter. Okay, and I'll talk more about this throughout the reading, I guess, but I'll just say that in the context of what I'm seeing here, I do believe it's a letter of some sort of indictment. Okay, it's a letter. I really feel like this is literally a letter. Okay, and then underneath it we have a card of a relationship gone wrong or a business deal gone wrong and an ending. Okay, so I believe this letter is about an ending, communicating an ending, and this ending has to do with this failing relationship. Okay, and I don't think that obviously as a president, well, he has made a, when he pledged on the Constitution. So I don't believe that this is about Americans, right? It's like he made a deal. He signed the paper to say that he was going to be a president, but he basically failed, or the relationship, just tell it nicely, the relationship didn't quite work out so well. But what I'm getting here too is that there's a background of his own relationship with Putin, probably. Okay, and I'll tell you why this could be. Again, like I said, I want to leave it open to it being either relationship with the American people, right, where he was elected, or a relationship with Putin, because it's a relationship gone wrong. Is the background of this ending. Okay, so so that's that. Again, a crazy person receives a letter, and this letter is about an ending, and an ending related to the collapse of a relationship. Okay, all right. So that's the beginning, the center of the reading. That's what sets the stage. And now I'm going to the area in the reading that focuses on like the background of this story. Okay, so I find it interesting that this is the first card that sets the background, which is disappointment. And I'm getting that he's disappointed. He's not happy. Okay, this is just a card of somebody who's not happy either with a job or something. They're not happy with the situation they're in. And what's the situation? Mountain. So it's a lot of opposition, a lot of challenges. Okay. And this is a card that also came for, was it Ivanka? Oh, it was Betsy DeVos, the person who can't do the job. Okay, the person who's like too overwhelmed with the responsibilities and can't juggle all the responsibilities and is not really doing a good job. Okay, and that we know. And there's a lot of conversations, a lot of meetings, just a lot of talk about this. And it's true, right? The country is talking about it constantly. He can't do his job, and from his perspective, he is disappointed at how many obstacles he has. Okay, all right. And here we have Queen of Cups upside down and the snake. Now, this reading, another interesting aspect of this is that there are three, all the queens are in this reading reversed. And I don't think court cards in traditional tarot can mean many things. They can mean moods, they can mean people, they can mean circumstances. What I take this in this case is to be about the essence of whatever the cups are. Okay, so cups are about emotion and feelings. Okay, so this is upside down, so it means again it echoes the card of the moon reversed. Okay, the crazy person, the emotionally volatile, tantrumy. It's just like everything that's good with emotion, where it's like higher level and love and all that. It's the opposite. When it's upside down, it's that outside of balance. And we have a snake, and I believe here it's him, because he is I'll tell you more about the duality, but it shows up clearly in his reading that he's a dual, right? Like I've talked about this many times, when the snake is really about a person who is in an environment as one thing, but there's another, right? I don't say traitor is maybe, well, we know that could be applicable to him, but in general, right? A snake is a person who's in your environment, but is working on a different agenda. Okay, let's say that. Let's just put it this way. We're working on with a dual goal, okay? And underneath here is the emperor and a messenger or a message, okay? So this, for some reason, and again, I don't know why exactly. Obviously, this could be Trump, right? The emperor. But for some reason, I feel like this could be Putin, okay? First, because it's like he's upright. All right. Well, you could say it's the president. Or, yeah, that's, this could be a good thing. You could say that this is a president who's a snake, which we know that to be true. But I also feel like in the context of this story, and I'll tell you why the next row, it's like he is the messenger of Putin in a way, right? So he's a snake and is also a messenger. And he's like a crazy guy, right? This emotionally imbalanced person who's a snake. And here there's the emperor, and he's a messenger. So this card means messenger or message, news, like the news about something. So I just feel like it could be, there's two possibilities here, okay, that it's about him, a message about him, but I also feel like it could be messages from Putin, okay? because right next to it, this is why I was going to tell you what I was going to tell you. Right next to it is the relationship collapsing, okay, and and an ending. So this is why I believe it could be Putin, okay, because and I think it could the context of the reading could work in either way. It doesn't really change very much about the reading, but it's just something that I see clearly. And like I said, right after this comes the letter. So the news, it could be that he's a you know what? It's just that I somehow feel like this is a person in the background. This is there's Putin in the background. It could be him because it could just represent the office of the presidency. He's the president, or he's the emperor of the country. And if I put also in Lenormand, you put two and threes together and you create a story. And let me tell you, this is pretty interesting. Okay, this is position one. I'll just show you because the relevance here is the Lenormand. I'm just going to bring them out because otherwise it's too confusing. Okay, so 1, birds, 2, messenger, and 3, ending. Okay, so birds is a card about conversations, in-person meetings, and gossip and chatter, blah, 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 like people talking, okay? This is a card about news, and this is a card about ending. So all the chatter leads to news about an ending. Okay, this is how you could see this. And ultimately, the reality is that in the how I structure these readings, the smaller cards are more important, right? Because they just have the core of what's visible. The cards underneath are more sort of like the mood and what's behind it. Okay, they give a lot of context, but really the events are the smaller cards. So like I said, it's like the chatter, the news about an ending, and then on top of the ending, you have the letter. So an ending comes through a letter. And this is why I believe it's an indictment, because there's just the confirmation that people are talking about. What is the talk about? The talk is about him not being able to do his job, okay? So you have several instances where this thing about the madness and inability comes up. And I feel like this letter, because this is the most important part of the reading. Okay, this is the center. So if the center says this, then I have to pay attention. Okay, so the letter's coming to him, letter about an ending, and then then that's the second level of the main part of the reading is this. It talks about the older man, and just Page of Pentacles. I believe it means it's about money. So the man is about money, and this card came for Jeff Sessions. It came for a lot of people, I think. I forgot. A few others also got this card reversed, which to me means entanglement. Okay, so this is a person who cares about money. And at heart, like I said before too, the heart is the truth, right? It's like, what is this person? And this person is all about entanglements. He's completely entangled. And I've discussed this before in other readings about the meaning of this, right? Of meaning of this card in general. It just means that this is a person who creates the illusion and then is unable to leave the illusion that he created because he's so entangled in it. So that's sort of like, that tells me that's his core. Okay, so even though he's motivated, he's a person who's motivated by money, ultimately he's Mr. Entanglements. Okay, and then at the end of this, we have, this is a card, and I looked it up again today, reverse, because I've said this before. I normally don't look at a lot of reverse meanings, or I already know them, but this is it's come up like this recently. The happy home, the wedding, the public celebration. It's a card of home. And if we think about the country, right? The country is home, right? On a larger scale, is this the White House? No, it's home. So what is home if the reading is about the president? Home is this country, and it was upside down. And this is like such a disgusting thing to say, but it's what it's saying. It's like he saw turning the country upside down as an opportunity. Okay. So it's saying that this is a person who was very entangled, who was all about entanglements, who cared about money, and he saw turning the country upside down as just an opportunity for him. Okay. and that he was having, or maybe he might have seen it, had a hard time making a decision, but ultimately all he cared about was his reputation. So here, what are these two combinations? Combination of opportunity and reputation. So this was an opportunity. Turning the country upside down was something he thought about and ultimately decided to do because it was just an opportunity to improve his reputation. Okay, and it's so crazy to read this because like in any other context, if like we had told this story before, we would never, no one would have believed that this could happen, right? It's just kind of crazy. So it's just saying that because the whole thing seems so outside of the right, it's just like too crazy to be true, but that's what it's saying, that he's crazy, that he has this relationship that broke up, and that everybody's talking about how unable he is to do his job, and he's unhappy at having all these challenges, and he's a snake, he's crazy. Okay, so now we know it's not exactly an intro, but it's the main part of the reading. I'm moving on to the second part of the reading about the Mueller investigation, right, which I do with everybody. So it's funny, I'm going to say this and I almost see this in my head. I see an image of Mueller telling a story in a courtroom. Okay, so this is a card of heartbreak, and upside down is a card of a person who wants to move on from a heartbreak, disappointment, or stress. Okay, and what we have here, we have foreign countries. So what this tells me, and the image I see is like him, like, oh my God, he's a person under enormous stress. Okay, he wants to unburden himself of the problems he has with the foreign government. Okay, because of course, as I've seen before, he's very entangled. So this is the Queen of Wands reversed, and what I see, as I've mentioned about the Queen of Cups, is that it's not necessarily a person. It's just the essence of Wands reversed. Okay, so what is it? It's like this energy. Negative part of fire sign. Okay, it's a person who uses bullying, who's too aggressive, anger management issues. And what do we get on top of it? Corruption. So he uses the bullying. Oh my God, this is so interesting because it's so true, right? He uses the bullying and the kind of like fighting and like pushing people around in order to get away with corruption and theft. Okay. And okay, our friend here, the scent. Okay, so this is a card like at the very beginning of these readings, I did a lot of research about the cards that mean going to prison. What cards signify prison? And this is it. They say that the main card about prison is this one, and here it appears, and it's like in the end he goes to prison. That's what the reading. So basically, a person who's like super stressed and wants to like get rid of the problem he has with the foreign government, which is probably some sort of blackmail or something like that, the deal that he made. Okay, and so he uses bullying tactics. He pushes people around so he can accomplish the theft and corruption that he wants to do, but ultimately that doesn't work because it's over for him. He goes to jail. Okay, so that's the first stop of the reading. Like I said, I don't want everybody to be like, oh, this woman, I saw her on the internet, she says you go, because what if he doesn't? Right, we'll get so upset, but that's what the cards are telling me. And then the second part, normally it's the part where the person defends himself, but obviously at this stage, I don't think there's a lot that he can defend himself with. And again, it just goes more into depth about what the whole thing, what is happening. Okay, so how has he acted? So this is a card of a go-getter. It's a positive card, like go-getter, aggressive, gets his ideas across. So he's being a go-getter to expand something. Like he's putting energy and like expanding something. And what is it? This is the card of group work upside down. And what does it mean? Group work upside down means the group of people who are working together in wrong ways or towards wrong things. And what is this? A dog. So he's loyal to the cause of working towards the wrong things. Okay, working towards negative goals. And then what we have here is the Queen of Pentacles reversed. And I've talked about this before, which is the negative sense of pentacles. So it could be overwork or working. I think in the context of Trump, it really is ill-gotten gains. And who do we have here? Russia. So ultimately, he is working very hard to expand. What is he working hard on? To expand the goals, because he's a loyal soldier of the wrong group, right? Or the people working towards destabilization or working towards the wrong cause. And the wrong cause ultimately is him getting the ill-gotten gains from Russia, okay? All right. And how it ends, this is pretty, I find this ending the last, how will history remember him? Okay, and what is the summary, if you will? Okay, so this is the Magician upright is a card, is a good card if you could get anything done. You almost have like, it's not superpowers, but you like have this like ability to bring your dreams, to make your dreams a reality. Upside down, it means con artist. It means trickster. And that's really who he is, right? At core, he's a con artist, okay? So here's a con artist who got a gift, money gift. This is it. So basically, he will be known as a con artist who got some money. And here is the quid pro quo card turned upside down and a secret. So the con artist got money. He had a secret. And his secret was he had debts. Okay, because his quid pro quo card reversed his debts. And this is a card of like reversed means person who is willing to do anything, who spare nothing, who go all the way to get what he wants. And this is the card of an anchor. I've discussed this before. It means that he's working for the other side. That's what I feel, okay? Because everything here indicates that he's in the wrong side. He's like working towards the wrong cause to get his money to do corruption. So ultimately, this con artist is guilty, right? Because he's like, that's his job. His job is to be to fool everybody, to hide his debts, and to go all the way up to being an anchor for this other cause. Okay, so that's that. I think it tells us. I think it tells me a lot that we already know, but what I didn't know that I'm seeing here is that he was really desperate. I feel like the whole thing with the Russia thing, it's not just the money, but is the debt. Like I say, it's showing here debt, it's showing the heart, like the stress and the money situation. So I feel like he is being pushed by them to deliver. Okay. And that's why and I feel like in a way, that's why he goes so wildly over the top, because he again, he has several cards, this card of being a bully, being very aggressive to accomplish the corruption, and then wanting to get rid of the heartbreaks, the stress from the foreign government, and then being loyal to the wrong cause, and then getting ill-gotten gains from Russia. So it's all these elements confirm what we already know, and it looks like there's going to be an ending and there's going to be a letter, okay, and that here prison, an ending, okay, and here letter, ending too. So it looks like there will be some sort of indictment or something about an ending, and the story is going to come out about him being a con artist who got a gift and hides the debts, the quid pro quo debts that he has. It is willing to go all the way as an anchor to the wrong cause. Okay, so that's the story. This was reading about Donald Trump, and again, I will do next. I'm not sure if I will do it today, but I will work next on the reading about the timeline of events, if there is one. Okay, there is a timeline about the Mueller investigation. But I know that the first thing I'm going to hear from you all is going to be, okay, so when is it going to happen? And I don't know, the best I could do would be to just do it like I've done with the Mueller investigation timeline, which is a month by month, and see what happens in the next 6 months, okay, what comes up. All right? Okay, well, thanks for watching. Bye.